Hey guys, this is Primeval. We're back with part 5 of our game as Russia with no quitters. We're down to just 2 human opponents, the Japanese, who are sandwiched in between us, and the final opponent, the Iroquois. We have a spy in Singapore, who is a nice mercantile city-state, and he's going to be rigging an election in 2 turns, so we're going to get a bunch of happiness off of that. Otherwise, we are very pleased with our position on the map. We have these 2 cities here, one that is very defensible, and we also have the Great Wall, and as a result we have cities in the rear that we don't have to worry too much about defending, unless of course someone lands a military over the ocean here. We just discovered machinery, so we can go and upgrade some of these units to crossbowmen, maybe just to let the Japanese know that we are not pushovers. And here we can finally repair some of these tiles that that a bunch of barbarians had pillaged previously, and we didn't have the units to take care of that, or the workers, until now. Alright, so we have both university slots employed at our capital. We're growing at a good clip, thanks in part to the hanging gardens. We're about to get a national epic online, which will help with our great scientist point generation. And we can probably go and upgrade a few more of these composites to crossbows, just so that the Japanese have further incentive not to try to mess with us. Now, we'll also see if that pushes us up into second place. We definitely want to keep the distance between our army and the leader smaller than 100%. So right now, the Iroquois have an army that is twice as strong as ours. We'll see how upgrading 4 composites to crossbows has affected our military strength. It hasn't made too much of a difference. We went up about 8,000 soldier points there. So we just rigged elections in Singapore, so that's definitely nice. Maybe now we can go and perform some counter-espionage, since we're now number 1 on tech. Let's go and move you to Moscow. And we can move the crossbows back up. Alert and alert. So we finished a farm here. This spot can also be a farm, since we have a lot of hills to work. We can also start work on a road, or maybe go and improve the sheep, but these horses are a lot closer. So sometimes what I like to do is, if the resource I actually want to work is 2 away, I'll take 1 movement and spend the other movement point in an improvement, and the next turn I'll move and then spend the unit movement point on the actual improvement that I want. And that little bit of micro saves gets you an extra turn on making that improvement, in this case a farm. It doesn't really make that much of a difference, but when I have the time to be efficient, it's a nice thing to do. Oh yeah, let's go and take a look at how much money we're getting from trade routes. 12 versus we're only spending 6 on this road. So that looks fine, as does this. So Singapore now wants Tangrism. Our religion isn't spreading all that quickly, and since we're growing our population so quickly, it'll be a while before Tangrism becomes the majority religion. Here, I think I will make myself a farm, since I do want to grow Moscow as quickly as possible. So that looks fine. Going tradition here versus our neighbors who split liberty and tradition is really helping us out now, because we have all this happiness to fill out, and the 15% growth bonus from finishing tradition, as well as the free aqueducts, is letting us grow a lot faster than anyone else. In terms of manufactured goods, however, we are now in last place, and we still need to go and push up our soldier value. Since it is actually just 3 of us now, with China, Siam, and the Huns being completely eliminated. We should probably go and upgrade another crossbowman to a crossbowman, since we can afford it, and this way we'll be battle ready should the need arise. Now, I don't think we have any spare luxury resources. We have 2 incense, but we're getting both of those off of city-states, so we can't actually trade them. If we did have spare luxuries, I would happily trade with Japan to help them out a little and maybe develop some better relations with them, so that they can go and fight the Iroquois for the both of us. Alright, so we have enough to purchase a building with faith. Let's go and grab ourselves a pagoda. That'll also increase our faith output and get us some more happiness. Up next, we could build the Hagia Sophia. That would allow us to enhance our religion, and it would get us a little more faith for the future great scientist purchasing. Alright, let's go and grab the Hagia Sophia here, and we just finished our workshop. Let's get to work on a university. So we finished that. Now this worker from Florence will never get home, since we can't give open borders to city-states. As far as our crossbowmen want to be positioned, perhaps we'll move out just a bit. And all the rest looks just fine. Demographics wise, we're not quite so weak now, but we are still the weakest. We have, however, pulled ahead on tech. We're a good 5 techs above the Iroquois, and possibly 2 techs above the Japanese. Now, I had heard somewhere that rather than this being an average, it was actually a median value, but more recently, I've seen examples where this number actually does represent a true average. So I'm not sure if that's something that's changed or just a bit of misinformation that I had repeated to you guys. So there's that happens a lot in Civ, since there are so many things and most of them aren't documented. People usually end up making up things that aren't true, and so I try not to do that, but it just happens most of the time. Alright, so we had a bit of a loading screen there. I might have had my audio cut off slightly as well, and so all of my talking about saving moves, I actually forgot to stop building that farm and shift over to the horses. But it's no big deal. I'm actually working that tile, and I'm happy to have the extra food here. So that's one thing about doing little micro tricks or whatever, is that you often, or at least I often, forget to do the next part of the micro and results in it being much worse. So by this, it looks like the Iroquois and the Japanese are indeed at war, which is good for me so long as they fight and spend a lot of resources doing that. If one of them just rolls over, then it is really bad news for me, because then they'll have a lot more land and a lot more production, and they'll be able to catch up to me in terms of science. So it looks like Japan has crossbows, and the Iroquois... Oh no, it looks like the Iroquois have crossbows and Japan does not. Anyways, we have our crossbows on display. They can shoot and possibly retreat as the situation demands. Let's see how we're doing on that science quest with Milan. We have the lead with 5 technologies, and that quest completes in 10 turns. So we'll be allies with them soon enough, assuming everything goes as expected. Someone's already built Notre Dame, so there's no need to go and rush for that. We will want to go and grab chemistry, and then perhaps fertilizer. Since we have a whole bunch of mines, chemistry will definitely be helpful. It also looks like Japan is not doing so well with their war. Maybe we'll go and send them some encouraging words, unless they're already weakest on military. No, they're not. So I can even give him open borders if he wants to move his scout. Anyways, we just finished that university, and we're going to go and pump out some more crossbowmen here, just so we can catch up to the Iroquois as they fall, or as the Japanese fall. So a crossbowman in 5 turns, and let's go and employ the university slots. That looks good. Someone has to worry about me. So the Iroquois are worried about me. I guess they're worried about me out-teching them. Anyways, even though this is risky since it puts a pillageable tile on our front, I would like the extra food there. Actually, no. We'll just leave that as an unimproved tile since I don't want anything to be any extra pillageable tiles for Japan or the Iroquois. Alright, so all of that looks good. We have 4 scientist slots filled now, and we're pumping 105 beakers per turn. Looking at the demographics, we're number 1 on population and technology. But concerningly, we are behind on manufactured goods. In fact, the leader, the Iroquois, have more than, by 1 hammer, twice our manufacturing capacity. So we're seeing if the Japanese will take our offer of friendship. We need embassies in order to have open borders, and we need open borders in order to put our units into his lands and give them to him. He might not want to do that and would rather the Iroquois just go and kill him, but he did accept that, so let's go and trade open borders with Japan, and then we'll go and give him a few of these crossbows. So he just lost one of his cities there. We can give him 2 crossbows. And still have enough to feel safe about defending. Since the Iroquois have a lot of crossbows, apparently, we should probably train some mounted units for ourselves. So Japan's capital is way up here. He's got some pearls, and he was really close to the Hun's capital, would be my guess. Let's go make sure Moscow is growing as quickly as possible. I guess next turn. We were a little too slow with that one. If we go lock that down, that does speed us up by a turn. We finished our workshop, so let's get to work on a library and then a university. Food tiles, that looks good. This also looks just fine. Alright, so let's go and gift this unit. And we'll wander in here and gift that unit. So a strong Japan, so long as he fights the Iroquois, which from the looks of it he has no choice but to do, works in our favor. So I'm very happy to be giving him a crossbowman now and then. Looks like he might also be trying to get a road up, which would allow us to give him units more quickly, but I'm not really sure how I feel about the prospect of easy access to our capital. Alright, so our growth rate has slowed a little. Our capital is still chugging along. But if we could find and befriend a maritime city-state, that would be very nice. Let's take another look at the demographics. It looks like the Iroquois are starting to get trimmed down a little bit. After astronomy, we're going to go and head up towards chemistry. And next turn, we're finishing the Hagia Sophia. That'll give us a faith boost, but also allow us to enhance our religion. And since only Christianity exists, and Christianity was founded, I believe, by Siam, and so Siam is no longer in the game, but their religion is going to continue to spread here. We could enhance our religion here, or we could use this guy to go and spread our religion to these various cities. We might actually want to do that, since our religion does give the 10% growth bonus. Up next, I think we're going to want this Colosseum, since we're hitting our happiness cap, and I don't think any of the enhancers are going to help us out all that much. So yeah, I think that's what I'll do here. I'll go and spread Tengrism to all of my cities. Our next policy, we Still haven't hit rationalism. So one really cheap and annoying trick that some people have to do, and I think we're going to do here, is wait for the turn timer to expire. I'm sorry, guys. So that we can open up the Renaissance and then select a social policy from the Renaissance. So I think I'll take this opportunity to use the washroom. Okay, so we're about to have the turn roll over, and I'm just noticing that some of Japan's crosswomen are pretty damaged here. So I might have to go and gift him some more units here. Well, he still has some intact units, and no, I guess he's doing okay. Maybe that unit just retreated to heal up somewhere safe. Anyways, so we can unlock rationalism now, and that pushes us up by a good 16 and change in terms of science per turn. Let's go and spread our religion here. Oh, we already had that Pantheon. Okay, so we don't actually get any extra growth bonus from that. I guess this will just help us push against Christianity from displacing our religion. Okay, so Drokon just got back. He apparently had a bunch of problems with his internet. I believe it was Japan who killed him. So our great prophet is finished there. We're finishing up this Colosseum, and I think we're done. Yeah, so the Chinese were in a precarious position. They were surrounded by all of the other civs, myself, the Huns, Japan, the Iroquois, and Siam. So they were stuck right in the middle, even though they did have the best luxury resource in the game, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 salt. So anyways, in Moscow, we'll probably want to go and build... what do we want to build here? Choose production. Ah, yes, the observatory. Very much do we want to build that observatory. And, ooh, he is taking a lot of damage here. Let's go and try to gift him another crossbow. And, ooh. That ain't good. Anyways, we may as... What are even the tenets of our religion? Our religion, food... okay, so we get a little more gold, and we have the potential to build some pagodas. That's worth spreading. Yeah. Alright, we can also get to work on our road to Rostov, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, so after this crossbowman, I really would like to get up a observatory, but I think we're going to need more crossbowmen. Ooh, so Virus wants to trade all lugs for all lux. He probably wants to trigger a We Love the King Day, and then he'll probably declare war on us immediately afterwards. So we don't need to go for that, especially since he's leading by quite a bit. So anyways, there's no need to go and trade with the Iroquois. Alright, so I want furs, cotton, and truffles. Maybe if Virus gives us even more stuff. Let's go and see what he's got here. He's got a ton of excess luxuries, but not truffles. I guess we could trigger ourselves some We Love the King Day. So that would go and trigger a We Love the King Day in all of our cities. So if that's what Virus wants to go for, I don't mind trading him his We Love the King Days for We Love the King Days in our own cities. So here we have another crossbow. Let's go and gift this guy. And move these guys on forward. So Rostov finished its library. We'll want to get to work on a university. And that all looks good. Looks like Beijing here is in a lot of trouble. Ooh, yeah, that is trouble. So we're probably going to want to go and reposition our crossbows more towards our capital. So they want everything, but only for the excesses. The only reason I would make that trade is for the We Love the King Days. So hopefully Japan can hold out here. I have gifted a bunch of my units, and the Iroquois combat strength is starting to get trimmed down just a little. Milan will be friends with us in 3 turns, assuming all goes well. Alright, so apparently there are election shenanigans in Milan. So someone's got their spy in there. But with our science quest completing soon, we should be able to make friends with them again soon enough. Alright, so the Iroquois just captured Beijing. Let's pull back a little here. Okay, so 2 turns until we finish our observatory. That'll give us a nice 30 plus science boost, and everything else looks fine. So I think what we'll do is we'll pause the video here, and I'll see you in part 6.